The Living Room, where the family meets to discuss issues, any issue which may be bothering one of the family members. That's what we do each and every Tuesday on WACK 90.1 FM with Ricardo Mitchell and DJ Aaron 868. We have casual conversations on serious topics, from sports to culture, mental health to economics, relationships to life lessons. Join us each and every Tuesday on WACK 90.1 FM. The Living Room, casual conversations on serious topics.
It is now 6 p.m. here in Trinidad and Tobago. I don't know what time it is where you are, but I'm glad to know you're locked on to the true nation station, WACK 90.1 FM, where we are culture crazy. First and foremost, let's kick this off as we always do. Must give thanks and praises to the Almighty for granting us the gift of life and seeing another day. No matter what time of day it is, you must always give thanks. Secondly, we must say thank you to those that went before us. And we are not just talking about our ancestors, the original inhabitants of Trinidad and Tobago, because we all know, accept, reiterate, and say it with the chest that Columbus lied, but also to our brother in music, Tony Prescott, where the P this week stands for
Paranderos.
Alegria, alegria.
We did not plan this, but you realize we in Christmas colors.
Yeah.
I'll just
Yeah.
I know how I feel about what happening here, you know. No, it's either we in complimentary clothes or outright just matching.
Yeah, something.
It's a little
Something
uncomfortable.
it's very uncomfortable, I must admit. But the P this week, I would say, is for performance,
Nice.
right? This weekend, I would have had the privilege to work with Tony P. Yeah, so
he finally let you come on stage with it.
no. So I attended a boat ride. My partner's mom every year she invites us to a charity boat ride that she has,
Right.
and unfortunately, we were the last to board the boat.
So all aboard.
All aboard, literally, and meaning me as in my brethren and I.
Right.
We were the last to board the boat, and I felt bad for having a boat waiting on me as a patron.
Wait, you won't even put.
No,
Sir. I know you're a little more precise when it comes to time than that. What? You're going to give us some explanation?
let's just leave it as the same person who was late in July was late again Saturday morning.
I see. So the P this week is for precarious statements.
Yeah. Right. And we got there. I think keep all the buttons buttoned.
No, I button this jersey up to try to, match your energy, And how let us do this all day?
As we sitting in front of fan.
I'm feeling like in the plastic wrap in the clothes store, because this. Yes, sir. On the shelf for this always be button all the way up and down now. It's all right.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Right. So the boat was called to sail at 10. We got there at 10:35.
I see.
Right. So genuinely, I felt bad for having the boat wait that long. So I talked to the DJ who was there and I was like, hey, Lama, thing I'll whatever. Right? So
it was,
he was like,
it was penance.
well, self-penance.
You play for penance.
Self-penance. Because nobody could have cared less from the time the first song played. Right? And then eventually I went on, Tony and I went on just before Tony's set, played a couple tunes and had the privilege to be the DJ for Tony's performance.
Hey, that's a whole vibe.
And it honestly puts into perspective how much the talent that Tony has won, but also how much I think we as a population sometimes underappreciate his talent.
Again, I've told this story before, but it's Mental Health Month, so I'm gonna tell all the stories. All the stories. I given Tony full credit. Again, one of my formative memories as a young teenager, was a Juve with the year all aboard job, right? And completely.
That was how long ago?
It was a while. This could be 28 or 29 years, if not more, right? And I guess I'd be mid-teens, but you could check it for yourself. I think I was in Form 2 or Form 3 or something. And all aboard was the track. It was the jam. That was the soundtrack of the year, and to be able to work around him. And then even to the point where hearing Tony introduce us as graciously as he does every week, and then seeing him perform up close and personal, and realizing that over the decades, this man dropping a catalog of not just class tune, but of quality performance. He's not trusting the tracks to do the work for him. Tony is a vocalist, a proper vocalist.
And now, for those that know, I work with a good few artists over the past few years. And we're not just talking about during the pandemic when I worked with everybody when WACK was doing a show. I'm actually talking about outside of WACK. I've played for many artists at different shows. And from big stage to small stage, from big boat ride to small boat ride, Tony on Saturday gave a performance for me, and it just reminded me that, hey, we really need to do a better job at preserving the icons, you know. And don't just say that, and this is in no way a slight at Tony or any other artist, but don't just leave the old artists for old people events.
What you're saying is allow for some cross-generational performances.
Yeah.
Because that's a nice safe way.
Yeah, because I could put to that, I was probably on the younger spectrum in terms of the attendees at that boat ride. And from young to old was enjoying Tony P.
I mean, Tony saying things.
The color will probably kusume in some people, and it make them enjoy things a little bit more. But
fair. Yeah, but
everybody was enjoying it.
We know Tony is about a party starter and a man who does take it to the peak. You know, you could, after Tony P, you could go home. Right? So
we couldn't go home.
Well, you couldn't go home, at least not comfortably. But
or dry.
But you're right, because I'll be honest with you, I could see Tony Prescott performing alongside a young brother. Like, I could see just the energy that them fellas have in terms of being able to one young brother. I mean, he on the spot, you know, he versatile and he nimble, and he could, but even Tony with his experience and his catalog and repertoire, I could see them fellas, I could actually see Tony dropping his music on a more Trini vibe rhythm. I could also see young brother chanting on some of Tony tracks. So,
I'm not going to say that. I would honestly love to see more cross-generational remixes. Let's just put it like that.
CGI, cross-generational interaction.
Cross-generational interaction.
Yeah, CGI.
You said general.
What's it, generational?
No, you
said general.
The cross-general.
Yeah, wow.
Anyway, if you don't know the voices you are listening to, this is yours truly here on 868. I remind you each and every time that culture is my code, and I sit here alongside my
currency.
Wow, and I sit here alongside my bro with no fro, clearly not in the know. He's trying to be on the go, and he have a little bit of flow.
This is Ricardo Mitchell, the 10 City Sage on the global stage, man.
Right, and this is the Living Room at the True Nation station, WACK 90.1 FM, and I'm calling it early the home of Carnival.
Hey, I was up close and personal for the NCC launch last week Friday.
Yeah, I didn't make it up. I was told to stay in the studio.
Yeah, well, the kind of rain that come along here, and it was, let's put it this way, while the rain was falling, the vibe was billing. And then when the rain stopped, the people showed up. Real nice turnout, real nice mix of some cross-generational interaction. So we seeing the youths and them out of school, and then we seeing the people who know to walk with the coolers and the walking stick that was falling into the chair and thing.
The walking stick that is falling into the chair, that has to be a piece of engineering there.
But you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. It's fascinating how many of those I've seen over the last couple of months. But anyway, so yeah, there was a stick fighting demo, there were Moko Zombies and devils
I took in some of the clips over my commute on Friday, be it to home or to the station, and it was a well put together event on Friday. So I do look forward to seeing what takes place throughout the entire season. And I did hear them say that over the coming years, they will be taking the launch of Carnival to the various municipalities that do have regional carnivals. So I look forward to see if that would come to pass as well.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, two things I want to comment on that. One, whoever the stage manager was for that event, she wasn't playing, because even with the rain causing a compression of the show, she did excellently in terms of getting people on and off in time. And also, I believe that they're actually going to continue the rollout of the launch of Carnival in a number of different locations. It's not just a launch and a promenade, and that is it.
So as I said, I didn't cut the entirety of the speech, because I have always said, don't allow somebody to tell you what was said.
Right.
We live in the age where you could go back and watch it over. So take the time, if there's a speech that you want to go and watch or want to review because you think you might have missed something, go back up and watch it over. So with that being said, I do apologize for not having the entirety of the context in which the launches will be rolled out, if it's within this carnival, if it's in subsequent ones. But I do look forward to see what is going to be done over this carnival season.
Yeah, looking for it now.
With that also being said, I also look forward to, hopefully, God's willing, being on your screen for some of these broadcasts within the next couple months. But as if Kenny happened, huh? But the man tell me I have a face for newspapers, you know.
Hey, at least he gave that. Man tell me I have the voice for stamps, you know.
What?
Yeah, I tell him.
That's a good,
that's not
gold.
true. That's not true. He didn't say that, but it's already the type of thing he would have said.
But that's gold, though. I'm going to use that.
Yeah, go ahead. It was Kenny inspired. Because he also told me that, let's put it this way. Remember our first video episode, Aaron, the actual name of the episode is Face for Radio.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's because it was inspired by Kenny Phillips.
No, but I think that's an old colloquial saying.
Yeah,
you have a face for radio, or
before WACK decided to go visual radio.
Exactly.
And a voice for papers. Yep, that's also.
Now, there are a couple of things that we just want to touch on this week before we get down into the meat of today's discussion. Last week we would have spoken about a curfew for a young man, who is ailing. On the 28th of November at 9 p.m. in the lobby, there's going to be a fundraiser for Kevin Ferrier, aka Marty. Right? Persons are getting out there to help how they can in these spaces they can help. Right? So a fundraiser for Marty, 28th of November at 9 p.m. I'll try and pass through. I think that's a Friday night.
The 28th?
Yeah, if my counting is correct.
Yeah, that is correct.
Right, so I'll probably pass
fly.
through on the way home from radio, just to at least show some support.
Yeah, and that actually inspired the direction that I want to take this episode of the Living Room in. And just for the record, people who think that you're not supposed to end a sentence with a preposition, that is actually not grammatically an issue. But just saying, it was a cultural issue, not a grammatical one. So I could say that we end any sentence with the word in. Moving on. Is men's health Men's Health Month, right? What is November? November is a thing for us, right? This is our space, this is our time.
Men's Health Awareness Month.
Right? And we're already into the second episode of the month. I wanna be intentional about the attention I've paid to this space, because we've gotten so accustomed, Aaron, to certain attitudes that we don't always celebrate when everybody else celebrating. We don't always signal when everybody else signaling, because there's just our speed, right? We've always advocated for being better citizens, healthy male affection, mental health and mental health awareness, things like suicide prevention, etc. We've always done that, even in terms of November and cancer, breast cancer awareness and that type of thing. We always dedicate time and space to these things. But I want to be real intentional about our health. And I actually want to salute you on this one, because you've always expressed that health is a holistic thing. And you don't just leave it at that. You generally give us breakdowns as to what the different types of health can be. Right, so if you don't mind just giving us your general listing.
Physical, emotional, mental, financial, spiritual.
Yeah, right. Then but we'll interpret them as we come across. In terms of Marty, is a signal for me and our intersection of the need for physical health, right? Right now we're trying to support his cause, right? The fundraiser. Guys, let's try to get tested, do our annuals. Earlier this year, when I, by divine wisdom, managed to slam a finger in our car door, and I had to go to the doctor to get it addressed and treated and that type of thing. I went to Genial in Philippines, and while there I was reminded of the need as a man to be more intentional about my health. And for the sake of accountability, Aaron, I will tell you that the reference letter to go and get my blood work, I still have it on my dressing table. So it would be hypocritical of me to talk about the importance of these things and not confess the ways in which I have failed. So fellas, let's go do our annuals, please. Right? Let's give our families a chance. Let's give our communities a chance to help us by as early detection as possible, by prevention of certain things where possible. Fellas, if there is the price around in the budget, listen, there was a good time I need to ease off that consumption, right? Cigarettes are cheap, either in terms of your health or the cost. Maybe some to put them kind of things down too. I get a little exercise going. So in terms of the physical, while I want to acknowledge the need for physical health, let's look at social as well, because we're seeing a community rising around, gathering around Marty and his family at this point in time. And you don't get that just so. When they deal with people that kind of way, they tend to respond to the relationship that you've built with them. So let's be mindful of our relationships now. I heard something over the weekend that saying nobody on the deathbed has asked for the certificates. Right? Nobody on the deathbed has asked for the diplomas. Nobody on the deathbed has asked for the retirement watch. What they ask for is the people that they care about. So let me be intentional about our relationships, please. No man is an island, and even though we just want to play bad man and like we can stand up by ourselves, we all need community. So Aaron, what are your thoughts on men's physical and in this case even social health and the intersect?
Wow. A lot of us who have stable employment sometimes have medical plans. And a lot of us only take the medical plans for two main things: the associated critical illness or the associated life insurance. Very few of us as men utilize the medical plans to the maximum capacity that our female counterparts do.
Facts.
I myself included have been paying a medical plan for the better part of the last 7 or 8 years and have probably utilized it on 4 occasions. Now, I take it for granted that I have a few doctor friends who I go by and get certain checkups, right? But during the pandemic, there was a period where I myself had to take stock of it and be like, hey, something happened. And I did not take it seriously until I saw a physical manifestation of it. And I ask the men out there who are listening to the living room right now, or the men who listening to WACK, because you might know it's the living room, you just know, hey, my radio on WACK.
Yeah, because plenty of out here listening to WACK right through. Big up you.
Right? That as men, we need to do better in terms of going for regular checkups. Myself and Ricardo included, I think my last checkup was probably in May.
This year.
You're
You're still plenty better off than most of us.
right? And the only reason I did that was because, and I'll be transparent with you, I wake up a morning and I feel a pain in my left knee. But it wasn't our usual pain like you just sleep in a bad position. It was a pain like, boy, something might be wrong. And all it was is that I just needed to cut back on drinking so much lime juice.
Right. But you would not know that if you didn't investigate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So sometimes the little pains and the little niggles is manifestations of your diet. And your diet, again, as I always say, your diet is not just what you eat or you drink, it's what you consume. So, and I'll call a spade, which is why last week's episode where we were talking about shutting off or giving yourself that grace period. If you try to stay abreast of all the political news in Trinidad and Tobago, there's a high possibility you can give yourself greater stress. You can give yourself ulcers. You could give yourself high blood pressure because there is a lot going on. Yeah. Right? So practice the shut off for your mental peace so it wouldn't manifest physically. Now, the whole argument of the raising the price of that substance in the budget and all these different things, though the entire conversation around it on a national level has just been about the price increase, we as, and this is for the men, we have to accept that Trinidad's culture is built around that substance. And let's call a spade, alcohol is a substance which can be used and abused. Don't like just say, oh, it's just a drink. Alcohol is a substance which can be used and abused, which is why when some persons realize they have used it so much to the point of abuse, they end up in a place like AA. And just to let you all know that, as we have had them on the show before, the 8th Intergroup will be hosting a sports and family day at Astra Boys College on Saturday the 22nd of November from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Bring your family and friends for a fun-filled day. Everything is free except for the raffle. Because, you know, for a raffle, you had to pay for a chance.
Yeah, you had to pay for a chance.
Yeah, right? And that is our chairman for the 8th Intergroup of the, we could say the AA.
The 8th Intergroup is fine.
The 8th Intergroup, right?
Yeah, because
yeah,
one of the things with a space like that is, as somebody who grew up in AA household, you being frank, it shaped a lot of my life in the sense that I've seen the way that a community group could help you navigate your social and your personal challenges. And even things like the Serenity Prayer and some of the slogans that I would have seen on the signs and stuff growing up, the 12 steps and the 12 traditions, things like those helped instill in me a kind of character and that I took for granted because I grew up with an input that most people probably would not have until later on in life. So if you know you find you need to wet that beak before you go and sleep or before you go home after work, those types of things. Listen,
you saying before you go home and before you go and sleep?
I don't want to go into the checklist of things that could be indicators of addiction.
No. I think we also need to address this point in it as well. You need to take this shot in the car before you go into the office in the morning because you need to handle the stress.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In terms of
You
functional,
just have to throw that in there because
I hear you, but there's also a reason why I don't want to speak to that, because there are people who will think if the air reached that far, then they may not have a problem. And it's not that. It's that there are different levels in which you might actually have an alcohol problem. And while it might be functional in the sense that you could, I don't even want to go into like the gray areas or even a spectrum of to what it could be like. I just want to say, if your life is being impacted by your consumption or your desire to consume, and you don't feel you reach a stage yet where you're ready to walk into a meeting on any of the nights where they have one, you could probably just make a swing through on the 22nd. Yeah, just make a swing through and check out the environment and realize to yourself that if you have a full life, full support, and is a judgment-free type of zone and space. Right, so if you know you're not ready to take the big step, take a peek, take a pass through and see what to offer you there. Right, and that's again another indicator of social health as well. You know, that community space that will help you process and proceed so that you could progress in life. That was important to me as a youth growing up. Because this episode, Aaron, I want us to have some actual accountability as to the areas of men's health and on a personal level. So
you know you should forewarn me about when you're doing things like this, right?
No, for what? At the end of the day, Aaron, I know you are living a type of life that at any point in time it could be subject to inspection and pass. So it's not like you had to clean up your room because company coming over. At the end of the day, your house in order.
Who say?
I know. And you know how I know? Because you're my friend, and you're a friend that has paid enough attention to because of our proximity, which also makes me feel really bad about the friends that I'm not in proximity with. So for Twine, whose birthday was last week, and for Naeem, whose birthday
last week or week before?
I counted it as last week. The 31st was like 10 days ago or something like that. So it's a week and a half. Yeah. All right. So for Twine's birthday, For Twine's birthday, who was on the 31st, and for Naeem's birthday, who was on the 17th, Jed, I really had to do a better job by all you. So again,
I agree.
I'm not talking because I'm on some lofty soapbox here. I'm talking because it has ways I could improve. And even improve a year ago when I got my glasses, my awesome glasses. Listen, fellas.
That you're not wearing now.
I don't wear them now just because of the glare, the reflection from the ring light.
Excuses.
But, fellas, I'm telling all you, go and check all your eyes by Adele's Optical because she'll actually give you a sugar test before the exam start. Right? Because you know what's enough happening? People's sugars be high, the vision is be blurry. They'll go and take an eye exam, and then when they get a prescription, because they got tested with high blood pressure, high sugar, right? At the point in time, when they do get a prescription and your blood level normal, it really it blurry, and you feel like you have a bad prescription. No, what I'm saying is not just glasses, it's eye care that you're going there for, right? And get your glasses. Let me tell all you.
Eye health
And wellness, because you don't understand that when you're driving in the night and you're seeing them big, the glass, the light in your eye looking like a star, is because it might be an indicator of astigmatism, or your lens need changing, or the coating that you have on your glasses actually already going through, or as you get older and the muscles in your eyes start to react a little slower, you might need a stronger prescription. Go and get your eyes tested so that you could see your way. Right? One of my brethren changed glasses this weekend, and the manner in which he's treating this new pair, I rate it. I understand. See about your eyes. All you don't realize when you're reading thing like this, and holding thing back to read is because, oh, my eyes good. Check them. You who listening, you check your eyes. You can't be squinting all the time and feel well. They're printing this thing small, but check your eyes. Are you gonna see your way if you can't see your way? Alright, sorry. I get a little buffish there. But oh gosh, boy, why people is braids going for glasses? Boy, I wearing glasses since I 8. Since I'm 8 years old. That's decades. And my life is better for being able to see.
At least 4.
right? And is we more confident to live with this way. You ever see me trip? Exactly, because I could see my way.
Yes, I have.
What? You see me trip? I mean, I know I'll
Yes.
be tripping sometimes, but what are you talking about?
Yes, I have.
What are you talking about?
In your short sports career, I have seen you trip.
That was not trip, that was a dive, Aaron. I was trying to get across the crease. I was trying to get
Hey.
across the crease to make the run. And
Nah,
don't we
but-
want to talk about that time we play football and Zeph hit me the belt. That's all different.
That
Anyway,
is
moving on.
exactly how it's been. Anyway,
Yeah.
no, but really and truly, guys, we really need to take better care of ourselves when it comes to our health. And we was talking about physical health just now, and we went on to talk about eyes and stuff like that,
We drift a little bit into the medical.
right?
Well,
but,
a little bit more into the
but even like put it back a little bit, and it's something that we have been very passionate about here in the living room. Fellas, it's okay to go for counseling or not?
Hey! No, that was me
One-
just exclaiming in
Sorry,
support
so
and
just a
excitement.
comment at that point. But one of
No,
the
no.
things that, and again, I use myself as the example here because I don't want to tell anybody else's story, or two, I'm just trying to show you all that we practice what we preach. So during COVID, when things locked down, at first, everybody was all happy about it. Or it's like, yeah, I'll get more time, but you really didn't know how long it was going to last. So you embraced it for what it was at first. But when the reality set in and everything was down for a period of time, then the reality, it set in that, wait, now I wouldn't be able to do certain things that I like doing. And I don't call myself an extrovert, but there are things that I enjoy doing with people. Or let's say the sweats. Because it brings a level of camaraderie.
Right.
Playing music at events, because for me, I like to see people enjoy themselves. And I just love playing music. And when all those things were stripped away from me, I had a hard time managing. And I decided, hey, I need to go and talk to somebody about how could I manage this better.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I also had to be aware that what was affecting me in the moment. So, fellas, if you know you're waking up or you're at work and your mind is uneasy, or you're at home and you can't express yourself properly, or you just really just want to be preventative and make sure that everything is okay. Because just like how you just want to carry a car before the 7,500 kilometers or before the 10,000 kilometers to change your oil, you need to be preventative in your mental health as well. Now, I will admit mental health care is expensive, but you can also check out findcareTT.com, where there are providers that offer it for free. You could check your health center in the community. They have social workers there that offer it for free.
No. I acknowledge that mental health care can be expensive, but self-care doesn't have to be. And what I'm saying is, it costs you nothing to take a walk, to go out and get a little fresh air and some sunshine. Take a little walk.
It does cost though, yes, got time.
Mr. Williams. Anyway, you know what, Aaron? You know what? You don't ever go for walks ever. You do go outside. You stay inside. You use the lint in your front pocket. You just stay inside and stay safe from the tans. You go ahead and tell me how that turned out for you. But it costs nothing to take a walk, right?
Yeah.
And it might cost a little bit to join a gym, but it costs nothing to take a little exercise in the living room or the bedroom if you have a little space.
Walk
in the
if you
yard.
have steps, walk up and down your
If you have
steps at home.
steps, right? If you don't have time, listen, sometimes while you're on work, get up and every hour, make sure you take a little up and down, a little stretch. If you do 2 minutes of exercising a day, that's 10 minutes for the week, right? It's still more than if you don't do anything. Stretch, move. 5 days for the week, 2 minutes a day, that's 10 minutes around. Right? And use the accountant, What I'm saying is,
No, I just trying to figure out.
Move. Use your body. Use your body. Use your body. And you know what? If you want to take care of your body too, I will bless up Candice from Tranquility Beauty Spa, because she was one of the people who first introduced me to the idea of me as a man being able to take care of myself, my first facial and manicures and them kind of thing. I wasn't doing them thing before, but you know what I got to do because of that kind of space? I carried my father for his first spa day at 85 and a half years old before he passed away later the year. So what I'm saying is, come on, it had things out there.
You know, I actually now have a foot spa at home.
Now what I'm talking about, but you know why? You know why? That sound like the supervising officer.
Yeah, I have a foot spa at home.
The line manager decided to approve that to the budget.
The line manager, yes. No, but really and truly, guys, if even it's not a foot spa, I'm just saying, them black bucket.
Yeah.
Put some
Epsom?
gosh, what's the crystal? Epsom salts in some warm water. Make sure it's manageable warm water.
Right. Yeah, we don't want nobody ending up in
Yeah.
It is accident and emergency.
Right. Put some in some lukewarm water and soak your feet.
Yeah.
Get one of them the pumice stone.
A pommel stone.
Scrub and scrub your feet.
Better you do it in the soft warm water than you have to be changing your bed sheet, because them ankles and heels only roughing up your sheet.
Yeah, but not, fellas, take care of yourself. Cut your nails. Clean under your nails. Clean your ears.
Yeah, boy. And don't use no pen cover and them kind of thing too. Right?
Yeah.
Bro?
Yeah. Right? Scrub it. Yeah.
Clean your navel. Oh, let me talk big people talk here. Listen. Hold it. Don't. But listen, I think our belly button could clear sinuses, you know. Let's get about telling all it. Clean your navel, please.
That's clear sinuses and
I'm telling you what. Wait, listen. Clean your belly button, please.
That's a clear sinuses and brother.
It will. You smell that all your eye gets out of water. Anyway,
but
clean your belly button.
take care of yourself. I wanna go back to this social one because for me it also ties into the financial part of it.
Let me dance. Go ahead.
Right? Firstly, fellas, we get into the point where yes, we know certain things raise or whatever, but forget the raise and these different things. We get into the point where we need to be more fiscally responsible. Which means that either you need to check the friendships that you have to make sure that you are not the one that is solely funding the friendship. And secondly, fellas, also we can't buy every single round all the time.
Maybe none.
Well, so if we lime and you won't buy a cup of hot chocolate for me?
Yeah, alright, you know you're right. Those presumptions of me to assume that the wrongs automatically meant alcohol.
And that's the thing. You just looked at it of the value of the word for what it is in Trinidad setting.
Yeah, I mean it's reasonable to colloquially accept that term, but
right?
You know what?
But
you're right.
Our wrongs could be if you go out for doubles. You buy wrongs are doubles for everybody who there.
You may afraid that. In fact, I might do that before Bible study Tuesday.
All right then. Or whatever it may be, fellas, you cannot be the only one funding the line.
Good.
You can't always be the one funding the line, because if you are always that one person doing it, you are not being fiscally responsible for yourself.
Well, let's put it this way: if somebody could afford to do so, who am I to tell them what to do and not do with the money? But all I'm saying is that as somebody who had been a limer for quite a while, as I've gotten older and wiser and seen the way that one could reflect on money poorly spent, if I could go back in time, I would tell younger me to actually listen to what people telling you. Because men just tell you, hey, boy, listen, you're lying plenty, think, you're having a good time, you think it's important to your friends, for it to this and that and the other. But when you do hit a dry spell and you realize what you could have done with the money that you spend on this, that, or the other, I'm not looking to navigate that guilt anymore than I had to. But I'm just telling you that you could pay a light bill, you could pay water, right? You could put a data plan on your phone. Sometimes you go and you buy a bottle in the club. Or you don't even have to be in the club again, because the price right now, just generally, you go and buy a bottle. You could have put a month plan, a data plan for a month on your phone.
You was balling then? You buying bottles in the club?
All I'm saying is that the things that you could do, you'll be surprised at the things that you could do.
In really and truly, in retrospect, and it doesn't just come from lying, it comes from even supporting your vices. And for me, I'd always say one of my greatest vices in life is shoes.
Right.
And I have real shoes. But in retrospect, I don't need 20 pairs of sneakers.
You don't? You're only a centipede? Yeah, his name is Williams. It's not Millions. Aaron Millipede Williams. That's not, can I do something smoother than that?
Yeah, it could have. He missed the opportunity, but...
Yeah, Williams Pede. No, anyway, I go a Willipede. Yeah,
continue.
A Willipede. But yeah, you don't need 30 pairs of shoes. What? You can
that's the thing. No, but that's the thing. As I was saying, everybody has the vice. Manage your vice. Fellas, whatever that vice may be, manage your vice.
Don't let your vice manage you.
Right? For some people it's sneakers, some people it's drinking, some people it's smoking. Manage. Some people is betting on sports.
I know going to say you until NLCB start to run ads on WACK, I could say it bull. I not spending no money on play because you know the money I could have play a mark, I could have go and buy a pie. And I'm sure when I buy my pie, that I'll enjoy my pie.
Brother man, these days, the pie man don't buy me his hit and miss. Just like if I play a mark.
Oh my gosh. And you go see that on the radio. You tell him, man? You tell him?
Yes.
You go on the radio and say it?
That is why I'm not buying by him again.
Wait, that hard, boy. That hard. Because, I mean, you know what?
Your beef to beef pie ratio is 1 to 8?
Yeah, don't do me that. Don't do me that. Don't do me that.
Right.
Don't do me that. Yeah, don't do me that. You know what? You're right. Filling's expensive, but don't do me that.
Exactly. But yeah, fellas, manage your vice. Don't let your vice manage you.
Yeah,
and last thing, spirituality.
Well, actually, before the spirituality, I wanted to touch on something else in the whole social inter-business aspect, finance aspect rather. I'm proud to say that I've registered a business.
Hey.
That I have registered a business. Because here it is at telling all you. Big to big. Big up to Adams Business Enterprises. Alright, for the support in getting me across the line. ADOMS, not ADA. Adams, ADOMS, right? For getting me across the line. Because I need all you to understand something. Let us be real. The millionaires and billionaires out here didn't make that money via the salary. They did not make that money via the salary unless there was C-suite and the salary is 10 and 12 and 20 and 30 times the average worker's salary. But generally, the people who became millionaires and billionaires, the majority of them did so through business, through providing a solution to a problem that people had. So I'm telling all you that I registered business because I've already gone through enough of who hiring, who firing, what closing down, this, that, and the other. I'm not going through that again. I have to be able to eat and pay my bills when the month come because of what I could generate. And I want to bless up all you who self-employed already and not thinking about it that way. You see, to the farmers and the men and them who just do the little mechanic work, and you don't understand that being able to generate income because of what you can do is a gift. It's not a fallback, you know. It's a gift. You could plant tomato and sell some tomato. That's a blessing. You understand? You could fix shoes, let her work on the side of the road. That is a blessing. Alright. So I'm just saying, in terms of the business space, big up you Adams. Alright, and pretty soon I'm going to be dropping my logo and business contact on the work that I've been doing. Because I coming out here to eat. As my brethren Lalo does say, I like Pac-Man. Nom, I eating everything on the screen. Alright? And part of that came from, as Aaron was segueing into, spiritual health. The community that I'm in is helping to shape my entrepreneurial mindset and give me a deliberateness about the way that I function. So, yes, Aaron, from business into spiritual, because them two things so closely related, it's not funny.
But it's closely related for you, but some persons may think it's islands apart.
That is two sides of the same coin. You know? People understand how much the financial principles are spiritual in nature.
No, but again, Ricardo, you have to accept that your journey is a lot further along than other person's journey.
Hold on, but that's further along talk. I'm in a different place to a lot of other people. I wouldn't say I'm further along, because I don't know what their journey is. Let's say that I'm in a different place.
We're looking at the journey linear here, Ricardo.
I know. We are to be Morpheus, boy. You know, for a man who kind of look like Morpheus, you're surprised me there. You have to break out of the matrix here. It have no linear journey, so it have no linear journey. Because it can't be forward, up and down and still be linear. You already enter 3D there. You see what I do? There are heights there. There are real heights there.
Or let's see why this had to go through on a weekly basis. Like, this is torment, you know.
Aaron,
but anyway, back to the spiritual here.
The man said torment, you know. You didn't just come back from our next country. You didn't come back from our next country the other day. You a man didn't have a big party a couple months ago. But look at how sweet your life gets since you start listening to me now. Think about it. Only complaining. Tell me. Anyway, you know what? Just say that you shouldn't toot your own horn. So I'm gonna just stop here and let you make your points for yourself. You go ahead, Ram. You go ahead. And there's when they reach home, somebody gonna tell you that. Sorry, this is me actively listening. What you were saying? So we can't leave all this today on the people
again, or let's see what I had to go through on a weekly basis. Right? Anyway, for the spiritual, fellas, prayer is important. Right? I'm not saying go into pastoral training or anything, or go to join the priesthood or anything of that sort. Prayer is important. Make it a base of your day. Make it a base of your life. Start your day, end your day with prayer as a basis.
Yeah, your bare minimum.
Bare minimum. Also, I try to find the politically correct way to say this.
It's in my text, I can say it unpolitically and that will be enough time.
No, fellas, go to church for going to church. Don't go to church for her. Go to church for going to church. If she goes to church with you, that is an added benefit. But go to church for the purpose of going to church.
I will put an asterisk on that. I will give you my agreement with an addendum. Go to church for God. Because you know what, Aaron? It have people go to school every day, but what they should have gone to school for was an education. So going to church for going to church's sake, if it gets you through the door, I will take it. But I'll tell you to go to church for God. and see what he could do with you. Because there are people that's be in church every week. There are some people that's be in church multiple times to the week. And you know what it also have in church? Every time you go to church, chairs. That don't make them no closer to God. Right? I'm just saying, go to church for God. Go to church for your life to change. Go to church for meaning and for answers and questions, because you're not just gonna get answers, you're gonna get questions too. You might get more questions than answers. But don't just go to church to say that you went. So I will put an asterisk, but still lend you my agreement because I understand what it is you're saying. Don't go to church to, oh gosh, if I go to God, then go quarrel.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe if that's what gets you through the door, fine, but you can't stay so. Right? But it has something for you there. It has something for you there. Right? Right? But
Right.
don't it has something to do in church every week like a pew, you know. Anyway, but what I'm saying is I know that after 20 years, finding a home church has changed my life. When I mean changed my life, I am not the same dude I was a year ago. And I couldn't be more excited about it. Could not be more excited. But Irene, I like your point. But don't go for people. Don't go for people. At least if you go, don't stay for people. Look for the thing that look for the reason you end up there.
Right, with all that being said, we are getting perilously close to the hour 7 p.m. and Mr. Desmond is up next with the big band.
Uncle Deso? Hey. Listen, if I's Uncle Ricardo, he's Uncle Deso. You watch yourself in the next thing you know is because I'm staying on to the line with Uncle Desmond for the big band.
You go ahead, Uncle and Uncle.
Yeah. You never know, you know. I don't know if Desmond could talk about me. Wait, you never know, we might find out. Hey, big up Uncle Desmond, man.
Once all they don't talk about like what he and Kenny just be talking about.
Sir, have some conduct, please. Have some conduct.
What I do?
Do you see what the two of them on? I just barely make it through what we on. I want no part of that, sir. No part. No.
As I say,
part.
once you're not talking like how the two of them talking, they should remain well uncut.
No part.
So for the football supporters out there are two more World Cup qualifiers for Trinidad and Tobago. They play on Thursday against Jamaica at 9 p.m. and then next week, Tuesday at 8 p.m. against, I think it's Bermuda.
Cool.
Right?
Where are we?
That third place. We need to beat Jamaica.
Okay.
Right? And also, if you can't support, there are many businesses that are taking donations to support our brothers and sisters out there in Jamaica after the effects of Hurricane Melissa. If you can't support, please support.
Yeah, it's actually at a benefit concert this weekend. So yeah, there are things that are going on. Look for a reputable cause as well, please.
Since we're talking reputable here, in our last bit before we leave, so what happened this weekend?
Oh, I mean, in terms of the All Fours?
Yeah.
Right, well, I was unable to attend, unfortunately. Right, the GSTT, I am a member. Oh, that's another space of health. The GSTT is a professional, I wouldn't call it a professional development group, but this is a professional organization. I am not a geologist, but I am an associate member, right? And they had the All Fours tournament this weekend. I was unable to attend, but the GSTT did manage to scrape a win over the Society of Petroleum Engineers. And by scrape, I mean beat them by 10 games. Last year we beat them pretty badly, like pretty badly. So much so that I didn't think they needed me this year. Otherwise, we might have wrapped it up an hour or two earlier than it did. But the GSTT beat SPE again, right? And whilst I was unable to attend, I still did my jersey. So I didn't set you up. I just was unable to go myself. And I did not know if you and your so would have wanted to be there, absent the actual people who in the organization. So I apologize for not letting you know earlier. But it's not like they needed our help. I'll make it up to you with an all fours, with you and I, and hopefully we will find 2 other people, so it's not just all 2s, right? And we can get a little Christmas all fours going on. What do you think? Wait, what about all fours, boy? You feel
If WACK do all fours, that would be so funny, yeah?
you feel me could be Dezo and Kenny? Or was it to our Tony Prescott and Mr. Desmond?
I wonder if that, anyway, I'm sure Desmond will be able to let us know if he's play all fours. If that's the case, we could do our all fours, our WACK all fours before the year done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could do. Kick some WACK and have some jack. Yeah, not too bad with the cats. Thanks for asking. Guys, listen, all jokes aside, health, health is very closely associated to community, right? Very closely associated to community. If you feel like you have no community, they actually have studies that show that your life expectancy is closely related to the levels of satisfaction and the healthiness of your relationships. Right? Let me put it this way. Unfortunately, there are people who sometimes the only reason you realize something happened to one of your neighbors is because what I mean is that community is important for the preservation of health, especially as we get older and if they have falls or something happen, be involved enough in some form of community that it has somebody to check for you. It's not everybody has been blessed with families and caring neighbors, etc. But there are things that you live your life for that you might be able to. Yes, people has been a little challenge, but invest in some community as well. It's for your own well-being too. And don't isolate yourself just for the sake of peace, because silence is not peace and loneliness is not peace either.
And I'm not going to say also remember that as you grow older, and we're talking about older than Ricardo and I here, that sense of community should also grow. Because people say that after retirement, that is when they want to live and they want to do all these different things. But a lot of persons tend, when that time reaches, they want to do it alone. Join a little retirement group.
Yeah, don't feel no way. Yes, it is harder to make friends the older you get, and you also lose more people the older you get. That is just a fact. Right? So you might have to be a little more intentional.
Because there's a portion of your life where all you're going to is weddings and baby showers. And then there's a next part of your life where all you're going to is funerals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Find community.
Yeah. I reference my dad a lot in this episode because, again, it's men's health. So I've seen the peak, the pinnacle, and the post-mortem right, when it comes to health. And I saw when my father became the oldest person that he knew. And that's a scary thing. That's a scary thing for plenty people, realizing that you're the oldest person you know.
Right?
Alright, so again, while I could foster some relationships, try to nurture them as best as possible to my brethren, I love all you and I'm sorry, and I really, really trying to put myself in a better place so I could do better by my brethren, by my community.
You should, right? And you know what you should do as well? Answer the phone when people call you. Have a good night, everybody. This is yours truly here at 868.
One step at a time here.
This is yours truly here on 868. I remind you each and every time that cult is my code. And I also remind you that love is a currency, so spend some today. Let somebody know you love them, guys.
You're in a love it up. But you go get a text when the phone stop ringing. I'm sorry. This is Ricardo Mitchell.
Note to self, don't call Cardo in the case of an emergency. But go ahead.
If you call him in an emergency, please leave a voice note, a voicemail, send a text of some sort, text me 911, whatever. Just imply the urgency now. Don't take a hurries. But this is Ricardo Mitchell, the 10 City Sage on the global stage. Thank you for joining us in the living room. Remember, guys and ladies in brackets, because right now is Men's Health Awareness Month. The hourglass is opaque. We don't know how much time we made, so whatever you're doing, be good and stay safe. And big up to you, Camille, of the Athletes in Action. Man, say he does listen to the program. He liked the show. And I think he and Joash would be good guests to have on in the future as we talk about the intersect between men's health, especially like in social spaces, and where that would intersect with the physical health because it's athletes in action, and even the social element in terms of the mentorship and the cross-generational interactions. So yeah,
That's the way.
that's a long side note. Yeah. I try to wrap it up now, but you know me, the brevity of my breeze.
Correct.
Mr. Desmond is up next with a big bang.
Keep it locked.